What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the August Love Story Podcast. I'm your host, Tommy T.
And I'm Artieka. Somebody actually said you should reiterate what Tommy says. And I was like, I'm going to do that. And then you didn't say my name. So
Right. So I was just going to leave it there. So for you.
All right.
One day you want to try it again?
No. My name is Artieka.
And like I said, welcome to the August Love Story Podcast. Today we are talking about should spouses be your best friend. We've been watching a lot of TV, been talking about a lot of stuff, and
have we been watching a lot of TV? You've been watching a lot of TV.
I've been watching a lot of football. But but it's like, man, you think about things that's gonna keep your marriage together or things like that. And I think about how we started with friendship and brought up the conversation about should we be best friends. But before we get deep into the conversation, I want to ask you guys to subscribe to our YouTube. If you're watching from YouTube, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Didn't it used to be Apple Music?
Yeah, it used to be, but then they separated. YouTube has separated the podcast too. So follow us on there as well. I
didn't know that.
Yeah. Also subscribe, like I said, subscribe, like, share, comment. We'd love to have these conversations with you guys as well. So without any further ado, Artieka, what is our conversation starter today?
So today's conversation card says, describe a time as a child when you felt really special and important.
When I graduated from high school, I was a valedictorian and everybody came.
I should have given you an age range.
Yeah, you should have, but you didn't. I was a child.
You were an adult. You were 18.
I was 18, but I was still under my mama's.
Try again.
Oh, you want me another one?
Yes.
Another one. When I was golly. My 8th grade track meet, my last one. I knew I was doing well in that track meet, but my grandmother, she loves track. And I didn't like that meet. I
Laura?
didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
And she came to my track meet and I saw her. And it was like the smile on her face to see me run and my dad was there. He saw me. But it was my last race in middle school. And we had the race won. And it was a guy that he was older than everybody. He had failed and somehow he was.
Hope he's not watching this.
I don't care.
I mean, I'm just saying.
He had failed and so he was allowed to race somehow. I don't know. He was probably maybe we was 14. He might have been 15,
okay.
Type of deal. But, needless to say, we was winning. I was running the anchor leg for the 4x4 for my track heads out there. And I was like, shoot, we killing this thing. I'm just finna go ahead and just bring it on in. So I'm running my race. I ain't going all out, but I'm running my race. And this man caught me. He caught me with 60 meters to go, and I just took off. And he couldn't catch up with me. So that was one of the proudest moments because I was able to do that with my grandmother watching and my dad watching, who my grandmother, she didn't come to a lot of my track meets. And, and I was able to win and come home with 4 gold medals and stuff like that. So that was really exciting for me.
Okay. Mine is, so when I was in elementary school, I tested into a gifted program. And where I'm from, they called it CLUE, which stood for Creative Learning in a Unique Environment. And I always felt special because the CLUE kids got to leave school and go on special field trips. So sometimes it would just be going to another school and they would get all of the CLUE kids together for activities and stuff. And other times it would just be we're still doing a learning activity, but it would just be not in your traditional classroom. And it was always something that they did that was not just like a teacher standing at a board writing something down and you got to learn it. It was like interactive play for kids. So like being able to just like lead class always made me feel special.
Oh.
Anywho.
So
thank you for going beyond 18.
Yeah, no problem. Because you claimed I had a terrible childhood. I don't
do
remember
not
a lot
say
of
you had
it.
a terrible childhood. I say that you feel like there's some trauma there because every time I ask you about something from youth, you be like, I don't remember.
I have the stuff I don't remember.
And I'm like, childhood was amazing. You should remember everything. Nobody beat you.
No, but it's just a lot of, I don't know.
Or did they?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Anyways. You funny, man. So to jump us into this conversation, man.
You did get hit with that bus.
Yeah, but that was a fight.
I know. It wasn't a real bus, y'all.
Nah, it was a tour bus.
Just realize how that came off.
You did get hit with that bus. That ain't not.
He did.
Anyway, friendship is important in relationships, I think.
I don't think you want to be my friend anymore after this.
That's funny, man. Well, nah, like I was saying, friendship in your relationship is important. I think just because it breaks up the monotony of relationship, you know, because relationships are so one-sided or can be one-sided.
I say they shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. It can be. You know, it like one person can be thinking, oh, this relationship works. But then the friendship part of it allows you to be able to talk about it, disagree and stuff like that. So I guess my first question to you, or to get this conversation going, is what are your thoughts on best friend? Like, what is your definition of a best friend?
So for me, a best friend is like the person that like you call when you're happy, you call when you're sad. You can go out and do things with, like, they're just kind of like your person.
Yeah.
Best friend, like as a child, is like the person that you get in trouble with.
Yeah.
Like they're always there. Like even if it's something like you didn't do anything bad, but like y'all get in trouble for giggling too late or whatever it may be. As you get older, your best friend is usually the person that you share the most experiences with. For me, like I call Ace my best friend.
Yeah.
Ace has seen me really happy and really sad. Like I remember him being in the car with me when my alternator went out on 40 going home. I was like less than an hour outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
And literally we had to call AAA to tow me to a hotel. I had to pay for a hotel room with a check because I didn't have a debit card that weekend for whatever reason. I just had enough cash on me to get home and get something to eat. And then my parents came with a trailer hitch to come tow my car home. And like, I hate to be like it's a trauma bond, but like we called ourselves best friends before that. But like him literally like being on the side of the road with me being like, it's okay, friend, was like, this is my guy.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Like when it translates into your marriage, you know, because you experience a lot more experiences with your spouse, with me, than I would think. Well, I can't say for you, but for me, I've experienced a lot more good, bad, and ugly with you than I have with anybody else. Like I do have friends that I've had since I was a a child.
You do.
You know, and everything. But it's like I look at the friendship as in stages. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like all those things are come in stages. But what is it? Like, you know, you have a childhood best friend and you have a best friend now. But what's the difference from your spouse being your best friend and continuing to be your best friend? Or is it even important for you to be considered the best friend as the spouse?
I think if people told me to name a best friend, I wouldn't name you.
Mm-hmm.
However, the feelings and thought processes surrounding best friendship would be you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if things, again, are happy, I call you. If they're bad, I call you. If I don't know what to do, I call you. A lot of times that has not been the right thing to do.
What you mean?
When the house caught on fire?
I mean, you had to call me.
I did, but it was like you sent me into an extra panic that I wasn't in. And I was the one in the house when it caught on fire. What was the question again?
Like, is it necessarily important that your spouse be your best friend?
I think that it is important for your spouse to be someone that you can go to in those times. Mm-hmm. People are always going to be like, I mean, there's always going to be a group of people that say my spouse is my best friend. There's always going to be a group of people that's like, I need friends outside of my husband or outside of my wife.
Yeah.
And it's not to say you can't have them. However, I do think that it is important for you and your spouse to have that close connection.
Yeah. I feel like the same thing. I feel like it's a sense of I don't necessarily have to call you my best friend, mm-hmm. but just know that you're my best friend. Mm-hmm. Like through thick and thin, we're here, mm-hmm. you know, because I think the friendship part of marriage and relationships allows you to be able to talk to each other in a manner that won't be looked upon as being disrespectful or belittling or anything like that. I think the friendship part allows the human nature of the human part of the relationship, because marriage is just a word. You know, the work in between the marriages is the action behind it, you know?
Don't let people hear you say that, because they don't start with the marriage, just a piece of paper.
I mean, like, you look at it, marriage is a noun, right?
Okay.
It's just, I think it's a noun.
Are you?
Well, married is, it may be a verb. Anyway, I was going somewhere. It sounded real good, though.
Of speech. Marry
is a verb.
Is a transitive verb.
Yeah. But marriage.
Is marriage a noun? Marriage is a verb, not a noun.
It's not.
According to this
Man,
website.
You have to. Why you have to do that, best friend?
I don't know. I was like, is it?
I was on something, but then now you took me off.
It does say marriage is a noun here.
But anyway.
Dictionary.com said it's a noun.
It's a word, right?
We'll go with it.
We'll go with marriage being a word.
It's a noun.
But the actions mm-hmm. within the marriage is what makes it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like you have to put in that work, and then the friendship allows you to put in the work and makes you want to put in the work. Because if I wasn't friends with you,
mm-hmm.
a lot of the stuff that you like, that we argue and fuss and fight about, it's like, why would I even like be considered in that stuff? Why would I
like to argue?
I don't like to argue. I lose at it. I'm not very good at arguing. But it's like you have those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think, you know, I don't think you have to necessarily be my best friend, but it's inferred that you're my best friend,
mm-hmm.
because I'm going to tell you everything about me and you're going to see everything about me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I do also think it's important for you to have friends of your own.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you can get a different perspective of the world
mm-hmm.
and see it from a different light. And then also have like that time that you need. You know, you need some time away from a person sometimes. And it's one thing to do it alone, but it's something else to be able to have somebody to do it with. You know, I just like my friendship circle is so important to me outside of you for that specific reason.
Right.
It's also, I look at it from a standpoint of with our children.
Right.
I was telling a friend a few weeks ago, I want our children to be able to go, because our friends, like our closest friends, doesn't live here in the city with us.
Correct, Mundo.
But I was telling my friend, I was like, I want your children to be able to say, Uncle Tommy lives here, and I know I can move here and I have a connection.
Oh, I remember this conversation.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's even goes further than just us. Yeah. Like having somebody to like hang out with and experience the world with as a couple, but it also you know, for the children to grow up and know that I can move around the country or move around any place I want to, and I can have somebody there that is a connection to me, you know? So said all that to say yes. It is important to be friends.
Whole bunch of words.
Let me ask you this. What about the transitions? What keeps a person in that friendship? Like if you was to say, hey, this is my best friend, what keeps a person in that best friend stage? Because we all go through stages in life, and it's more so with the spouse. What keeps the spouse in that friendship stage? Like how do you continue to nurture and grow that relationship as friends?
You gotta work at it. Excuse me. One of the things that you definitely have to work at is continuing to I guess, for lack of better words, experience things together. Because in marriage, you're going to always experience things, but you can't leave your spouse out of the experiences that you are having that are new. Like one of the things that I can say about you and I, as far as not just the relationship aspect of it, but like the friendship side of it, is that we're always willing to have new experiences together. Whether it be, I'm not a thrill seeker by any like part of the word. However, you've gotten me to like go zip lining. I didn't go snorkeling with you because I was like, I'm not going to die in the water. However, like there's like all these things that's like, that would be cool to do. And if I haven't done it yet, I'm like, oh, Tommy would do this with me. Because like, I still want to go like parasailing and all of these random things. There's things that I know that are not on your list that we're both, or that if I say, let's do this, you would be like, absolutely not.
What's that?
Anything going in circles.
Yeah, nah. I can do that.
But there would be things that are on your list that you know that I would be an absolutely not for as well. But there's a lot of things.
What? Snorkeling?
Probably. Yeah. But then there's lots of things that would like meet us in the middle that we would be like, when we go here, we're going to do this. It's kind of like us looking at the, I was talking to a friend recently, back to ziplining. We were looking at people ziplining over Vegas. Yeah. And I was like, we got to do that. Yeah. And she was like, oh my God, you would do that? And I was like, absolutely.
Right. No doubt.
Like, as long as it's not like $1 million to do it. Yeah. If it's an affordable option, we're doing it. But it's because we have those experiences, and even like simple things like, I enjoy being able to look back on things and laugh with you. An example is Incredible Hulk. Oh, Tommy and I have never drank Incredible Hulk with each other. Let's start there.
I've never had one.
I haven't either. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a start.
There's a start there. But like, we went on a cruise with some of our friends and family. And we went to the captain's dinner, and one of our friends was like, hey, let me get an Incredible Hulk. And me and Tommy and the waiter all looked at each other like, what? And we always look back on this and laugh. Yeah. And it sounds like an inside joke, but it was just like you had to be in that moment to laugh at it the way that we laugh at it. Cause like we'll just sit up and just really laugh at this moment. Mm-hmm. But being able to have the experiences, being able to have the inside jokes and the fun and all of those things, I think is what keeps the friendship going. Yeah. Because at some point, and I don't want to sound morbid because I don't actually mean death, but at some point, all you're going to have is those memories to look back on. Yeah. Like when you're old and you can't go ziplining no more. Yeah. Like you sit back and be like, remember that time?
Yeah. No, I feel that, man. It's crazy that you brought that up. That is so funny. I'm going to reach out to him like, hey, let me get an Incredible Hulk.
I need to actually text him, by the way.
Yeah. No, man, I just, friendship is so important. You know, I think we talked about this before, the fact that we knew each other before we like actually started dating, knew each other existed. It took out a lot of the getting to know. Yeah. And it allowed us to actually bond and make memories with each other as friends. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we didn't have that weird, where are you from? What do you do?
Yeah. Like, you know, just being able to skip that part. Mm-hmm. Or the because it took me like a week to call you and actually ask you to go to the mini golf, because I was gonna just brush it off, but then I was like, nah, I just need somebody to hang out with, man. I got these tokens. I don't got no money, but I got these tokens though.
I didn't even realize it was a week because I wasn't looking at it like, why he ain't call me?
Yeah, I know. Like for me, I was just looking at it as, nah, I ain't gonna call her. You know, she, you know, it is what it is. But then something just was like, give her a call. Y'all gonna hang out. You ain't got nothing to do today. You know,
she ain't got nothing to do because she ain't got no job.
But, you know, I just think that helped us out. And then also us paying attention to our needs. Mm-hmm. You know, it's sometimes I look at you and be like, okay, I know she needs X, Y, and Z. You know, and I'll just step up and do something, or half the time I don't know if you pay attention to it or not, but you know, I'm able to be left alone sometimes, you know, or I'm just like, I get to go do something that makes my brain think, you know. Mm-hmm. But I think that allows us to get to know each other and know how to experience each other better.
Right.
You know, because life is about experiences, and how can I know to experience you if I'm not trying to be friends with you and talk to you about certain situations and stuff like that. So I think that helps out a lot. What's the difficulty in being friends with your spouse?
When I'm mad at you, who I'm gonna talk to about being mad at you? I don't want to talk to you about me being mad at you. Now I gotta sit over here and be mad by myself.
Yeah, you gotta get over that.
Nobody want to do that. Like,
work through it, buddy.
I want to be like, he made me mad, but here we are.
Yeah, but I think that's every friendship, though. You know.
Yeah, but like with my friends, I can be like, I'm gonna call you back.
You can say that with me.
You live here. I can't be like, I'm gonna call you back and you're on the other side of the bed.
You leave the room.
I could. I had it wasn't because I was upset with you, but like I went and took a nap in Quiet's room yesterday.
Yeah, I told you to do that.
I know, but I'm saying like I have that opportunity is what I mean. Yeah. Until he lives in his room.
Yeah. Then you gotta go. I don't know where you gotta
I'm gonna go sleep in Lily's bed and tell her to go get in the bed with him. Whoever got the cleaner room between the two of them, I'm gonna go sleep in that person's room and then be like, go in the other one's room.
And help them clean up. Mm-hmm. I hope they're clean kids.
Lily is not.
Quiet's gonna be the clean kid.
Probably, because Lily is just like, throw it everywhere. You just don't need to be on the bed.
Right. I gotta sleep here. That's it. That's it. Man, but no, I think the difficult part about friendship and like your marriage or your relationship is the newness of it.
Mhm.
When the newness wears off, the work begins.
And boy, has it worn off.
Oh, yeah. The work begins after that because it's like you're a veteran at this relationship. You're a veteran in this friendship, and it's not too many surprises after a while. And this, you know, the work is the difficult part. Not the will, because the will is what keeps you there, but the work, actually doing it, like actually making the experiences, having the tough conversations, receiving the tough conversations, because that's for somebody to say, hey, you're doing great, but then points out a negative. It feels like they've destroyed your world.
You're attacking me.
Right. It's hard to, especially for somebody you love and you guys are providing for, you know, like I do for you. I depend on you. You depend on me. And then for them to come and have a negative comment about something that you're doing or you're not doing, it's the hardest thing to receive, because it's like, but you're dependent on me to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm dependent on you to do X, Y, and Z. You know, so you automatically look for a fight.
Right.
But you sometimes have to sit there and receive what's being said and, you know, improve. And that's the hard part about being friends in the marriage, because it's not only myself and my livelihood, it's our livelihood and how we live and what we do, you know, that's affecting everything. And now you put kids on top of it, makes it even more difficult to like experience new things with that friendship. Now you have to experience life in a new light. With
now your
people.
Now your kids have to become your friends, because you have to experience new things with them.
And you have to learn them and you have to teach them. You have to be more of a teacher than of a you know, an equal.
Sidebar. Talking about teaching kids things and like having fun with them. You know, like last year was Lily's first year trick-or-treating. Yeah. And like this year, she is so like into the Halloween stuff.
Is she?
Like we went to Sam's Club yesterday and they had like scarecrows and like the yard stuff, like the inflatables that are like a headstone and pumpkins and black cats and spiders. And she's like, ooh, I want that. Ooh, touch it. Like she's like so intrigued by all that. And the lady was like, I can't believe she's not afraid of it. I was like, I don't know what happened, but she like went off the spooky deep end. And like even with like what she's watching now, she's been having me like turn on like the Mickey and Minnie Mouse Halloween stuff and Vampirina and I'm like, the Muppet Babies have a haunted mansion. She been on that. And I'm like, I didn't introduce any of this stuff to you, but like she's like, Halloween, I'm all in. They give out candy.
That's probably what it is.
That's probably what she remember the candy. So it's really interesting to watch that growth and development with her.
Yeah, so our little friends.
Our broke best friends.
But yeah, man, friendship is important, you know, to make things work, because I think it makes the marriage boring without the friendship part. You know, so but before we get out of here, man, what's our quote for the episode? What you got for us?
So in my Instagram scrolls this morning,
yes, ma'am,
I saw Kirk Franklin on FaceTime with Plies.
That's just funny.
And you know, people be saying that they the same person.
Yeah.
And they was like, see, we not the same person. It was like, people in the comments are like, y'all are still not in the same room.
Right.
This could be a screen recording. But I picked a Plies song. So he said, as soon as I seen her, told her I'd pay for it. Lil' mama the baddest thing around and she already know it. I pointed at the This says dunk, but I don't remember that being the lyric.
I don't know.
And told her this pose to be yours. Showed her a couple of stacks and told her I'd let her blow it. It's pretty much it. I'm gonna listen to Plies today.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's Steve Boy, man.
I'm not gonna lie. When Plies first got on Instagram and was doing I don't want to say the P word, but Sweet Pea Saturdays, I used to chuckle from a hearty,
Did you?
like, inner place.
Did you?
Because Plies is funny to me.
He's listed as a comedian, not a rapper.
Because he is hilarious. He really is hilarious. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Plies ain't did anything recently that I would be like, yep, that's a hit.
Mm-hmm.
But like Plies had like the early 2000s on lock for me. Like I was always rapping a Plies song.
Were you?
Yeah.
I mean, he stuck with the sound.
He did.
Of that time, man. Like, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And then the features, like he had him being from Florida. And then you had T-Pain, who like basically took over. Like our college years, it was T-Pain, Lil Wayne, and Snap Music.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I didn't realize Travis Porter had such a hold on us until I saw an Instagram reel.
Yeah, think about this: swag surfing,
Mm-hmm.
us.
Like Lily's learned how to swag surf now.
Yeah.
And
like
she's 3.
just think about it. It's like I was listening to somebody, like I was watching the football game and somebody was like, they were playing swag surfing and like everybody was doing it. I was like, this song is like,
you know what's wild though?
What?
Swag surfing is old school to our kids.
Right.
This is their Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Right, exactly. That's the wildest thing in the world, man. Like when our kids get old enough to like recognize music and stuff, this is gonna be ancient to them.
It's gonna be. We used to clean up on Saturday mornings to this.
Right.
It's gonna be like the blues was for me growing up. Like my grandparents would like turn on the blues.
Yeah.
In the house. If it wasn't talk radio, it was like the blues.
Yeah. My grandma used to put on gospel.
I mean, we listened to...
Like she had this little radio and it always stayed on the AM station.
You know that radio that's in my mom's living room? That's my grandmother's radio.
Yeah.
It has never not been on WDIA. That is the oldest radio station in Memphis.
It's gospel.
No, it's not gospel. It's a lot of talk radio, actually, but it's an AM station. And it has like never ventured. Like actually one of the really the DJs that I grew up like knowing who he was as an icon, he actually passed away at work on that station. I remember you telling me that. And my uncle was listening. Like he was like, they had cut to music and then they just started playing. Like they never came back. Yeah. And then he found out a few hours later that he had died at work. But it was just like, that's been such a like staple in my family. Yeah.
That's crazy. We got on a real side tangent.
We did.
But before we go, I just wanted to say my grandma used to cut the light out in the kitchen. Like she had the gospel music playing and stuff. And she'll cut the light out when she done. Like she like, all right, all clean.
It's funny you say light out instead of light off.
With that being said, guys, thank you for listening once again to the August Love Story podcast. If you haven't done so already, like, subscribe, and share this podcast out. Hit the bell on YouTube to get the notifications when we drop a new video, as well as on Apple Music and not Apple Music, but Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Give us a like, subscribe there, as well as rate it as well. Yeah, with that being said,
I'm like Gorilla's interpretator.
That's too funny, man. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.
Bye, y'all.